Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Forgive me for any mistakes. This is my first interview ever, but I have a very special man with me. He's from Brazil, Professor Juliano. He's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu, right? And he's a professor of Jiu-Jitsu. He has so much experience, knowledge, wisdom about self-defense, and he's moved to Thailand, believe it or not, with his family, and he teaches kids and adults Jiu-Jitsu. So, Professor Juliano, welcome and thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure for me to be here, especially spreading the Jiu-Jitsu philosophy and benefits to Thai people, and especially in Konkan, that is a very promising place to start to do this work that I do from the past 20 years.
Could you give us a little background about your childhood, life in Brazil, and what led you to Thailand?
So I started Jiu-Jitsu, I was 12 years old with my Grand Master Flavio Behring. My childhood in Brazil was a normal childhood for every child have there. I cannot say, oh, this like sad history. No, I was not. We have a normal condition, but the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at that time, we call it Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu was growing up, was not kind of sport welcome for parents, because in 90s jiu-jitsu was a bit for tough guys and too much the bad boys. The way how jiu-jitsu hold on the peoples there and show that's his power and the effective martial art was when the people go and challenge each other and prove in the real situation that jiu-jitsu was effective. It was a pure martial art and the most effective one. So I have a bit resistance for my parents about to start jiu-jitsu, but I never give up. I was in a very healthy environment with Grand Master Flavio Behring. In our gym, in our school, we don't have too much misbehaviors, or we are every time that be a good man, be a good boy, be respectful is the most important. So for me, I have a different view about Jiu-Jitsu since that time. So I learned Jiu-Jitsu from the best. And so I have a good example. Jiu-Jitsu is about be reference, about have examples. And I have the best teachers and the best masters as examples. So for me, grow up in Brazil with Jiu-Jitsu as a background was a complement for my life, was building me a good man, because I always have a good man beside me. Even when the tough ones or these guys that don't have the same conduct that we teach in the gym, was a good example to don't be like that, don't do the same. So I have the both sides, and luckily I have a good teacher. All my teachers was good teachers, and I could learn Jiu-Jitsu in a good way and learn Jiu-Jitsu as a philosophy, how to build a life, not only sport or martial arts.
So it's interesting what you said back in when Jiu-Jitsu first started, it's for bad boys, right?
Yes.
And you said your parents didn't want you to do it. Nowadays, you see like Mark Zuckerberg and all these tech people doing Jiu-Jitsu, but why did your parents not want you to get involved in Jiu-Jitsu at first?
After a few years training Jiu-Jitsu, and now as a professor, start to learning and studying about the history and the philosophy. The main concept, the first creation of Jiu-Jitsu, the concept was not that, was not like this. Carlos Gracie, Grandmaster Carlos Gracie, he created in his idea a complete philosophy of life, lifestyle. And this was not allowed there. Be unfair or do this unfair challenges or be a bad boy in a bad way. This is not his idea. It was not his project. But with the past years, after 80s, when the tournament starts, when Jiu-Jitsu start to become a sport and the tournaments start to happen, the competitions feed this feeling in the competitors. And because they have to prove against each other who are the best, which are the best school, they start to put this challenge out of the mats, out of the tournaments, and bring this to the streets. Once you come to the streets and with no rules and too much ego, Jiu-Jitsu a bit lose the way how it have to be. I have to be honest to say, not every school was like that. Some schools are like that, but the most traditional ones, as the Gracie gyms, the Gracie Might, our school, the Behring Institution, Behring Association, these kind of schools keep the philosophy. So that's why nowadays Jiu-Jitsu has this image from the people, because we could keep it for the world. So it's always like this. During the formation, during the shape of everything is new, we have the dark times, but the dark times go, because at the end, the people want to have the benefits and all the bad parts. I have to agree that dark part of Jiu-Jitsu always also make the good reputation, because at the end, nobody wants to be with the ones who get beaten. They want to be with the ones that beat. So maybe the way how they did, the form how they did it, the shape how they did this reputation one, but the final result was okay because show in the real life that jiu-jitsu is really effective against any martial art. You can research internet, it's not my words. Jiu-jitsu beat the world. Every single guy that tried to challenge jiu-jitsu fighters was defeated. Okay, we have some, or at least jiu-jitsu fighters can survive. Be a jiu-jitsu fighter, be a black belt, be a professor or a master or a grandmaster, it means you will survive. I have to imagine, I'm 42 years old, not in my good shape now, almost retiring, just teaching and dedicate my life to spread this philosophy. Nowadays, we have jiu-jitsu spread all around the world. And if I will challenge some blue belts with 18, 19, 20 years old, most probably I will have a very hard time, but I will survive. How should I think? If I'm not a black belt, will I survive? Most probably not. This guy will kill me and break me. But as a black belt, I have the knowledge, the skills, and the properly moves to can survive. So jiu-jitsu is about survive. That's why when we transfer this for the real life, is a lifestyle, is a philosophy, it's not all a collection of moves.
Having proved that it can defend yourself in difficult situations, like in the streets, then people wouldn't really respect it. But now, like, you have, what I find amazing is you can teach jujitsu to kids, and it's like practical and helpful. Like, I wish that I learned jujitsu as a kid, because you see a lot of kids learn karate or kung fu, but it's not really like going to help them in a street fight. So what made you kind of want to bring jujitsu to kids and to help families?
First of all, to teach kids is a big responsibility because before you think about to teach moves and give them such a confidence, we have to be example. I cannot teach something that I don't believe or that I'm not. So if I teach them to be kind, I have to be kind. Not only with them in my real life. So that's why when we say jiu-jitsu is a lifestyle, it means you need a community to validate your lifestyle and your behaviors. Nobody can live a lifestyle alone. We need community to live. When I say I'm a professor, I'm jiu-jitsu black belt on the mats, in the school, in the bakery, with my family, with my parents. I'm a jiu-jitsu black belt father. I'm jiu-jitsu black belt husband. I'm jiu-jitsu black belt citizenship. Because this black belt is not only a piece of cloth tied to my waist. It's kind that is inside my heart. It's tattooing my soul. So teach kids, we have to understand this point of view. You can be a good competitor, not against it, but teach kids is a totally different mission. It's not even a job, it's a mission. Because if you don't really love it, if you don't really understand how to do it and how to touch each kid's soul to understand and detect what each kid needs, you are not able to teach kids. So it's about contact, it's about feeling, it's about vibes and energy. So some kids need confidence. Some kids need to balance the confidence. Some kids need to be more independent. Some kids need to understand how to ask help. These make us humans more balanced. And jiu-jitsu is the best tool for it because it's the only martial art that we have. If you do 3 taps and say stop, you have to stop. These 3 taps teach too much things behind. First of all, humble. If you're not humble to understand, now this guy was better than me, I have to stop, you cannot train jiu-jitsu. At the same point, you have to be committed. You have to be there day after day doing the same moves, training, and sharpen your knife to be every day better, not only in moves, in the real action, better as a human, shaping your character. This is most important. So the other point that jiu-jitsu teaches after tap, it's start again. We can never give up. Today I tap 10 times, but maybe tomorrow I'll make someone tap 10 times because I am humble to fix my mistakes, to understand my weak points, make it better, and try to overcome my opponents. But who was this opponent? This opponent is myself. My friend is there donating his body for my improvement. And at the same way, I'm doing the same. So this creates the big community. Other point we learn in jiu-jitsu that everybody is equal on the mats. Everybody wear the same clothes. Nobody wears shoes. And maybe one guy that's not the influent or rich or powerful guy, that train jiu-jitsu for 10 years will teach the president or the CEO of the company that started yesterday. So this shows how we are, as a human beings, are same. At the end, we are the same level. This is the main lesson that jiu-jitsu can teach for kids. Once the teachers understand this from the young age, it will never stop. They will never change because it will be part of their heart. But this is the point that create the good habits for the kids. These habits make the world better because we are starting with jiu-jitsu. Because jiu-jitsu is a long process. It never stops. During this process, you shape a good human beings. And when you give better people to the world become better. So I really believe if 99% of the population can do jiu-jitsu in the world will be 99% better.
So, as a person who loves martial arts, we're very fortunate to find the real philosophy from Jiu-Jitsu. Obviously, it's different for teaching adults and kids. What's the main difference?
So I don't see too much difference. The approach and the methodology is completely different, of course, but be a good man is be good for kids and adults. You cannot be just good for kids and don't be good for adults. I used to say, to be a black belt, you have to be a good friend. You have to be a good man. We have to be a good woman. We have to be a good husband, good son. So be good is be good with everyone. With adults, we have to only detect which adult needs. Different than kids that they cannot speak. We have to catch on the air what they need. With adults, the job is a bit more easy because adults can communicate better. They can express their feelings and emotions much easier. So I saw many times in my life, jiu-jitsu gives such a confidence to adults that solve their life. Some guys are unhappy in this marriage, for example, and during the jiu-jitsu process, they understand that this don't belong to them, and it's much better to let it go. So they got divorced. Some of them understand that the real meaning for this life is keep that family, and then they became a better husband or wife. Some guys are so insecure to lead a business, but jiu-jitsu gives them a good confidence and a good mindset to start to lead, and they became successful businessmen. So jiu-jitsu have this power to change and to make stronger inner improvement, to make everyone stronger without they realize. Because jiu-jitsu is about you and yourself. It's not about others. When you look jiu-jitsu from outside, you have to turn your eyes to yourself. If you keep your eyes on others, you will never improve. You will do maybe 10 or 50% of that jiu-jitsu can give you. So teach adults and kids are not so different. It's just the way how you approach the methodology and the way how you understand what they need.
And I definitely want my kid to train Jiu-Jitsu. But for any parents who may be watching or curious, how do you ensure like safety, and then how do you help kids build confidence?
Teach kids, give them what jiu-jitsu can give, can work on them. It's easy to understand. Nowadays, we have the technology world, the virtual or the cyber world. Everybody talk about the screens are not healthy, spend too many times in the internet's not healthy, the content in internet's not the properly one. Okay, and I agree, but it's impossible to avoid our kids to have contact with this technology. Also, if the extremities are not well or are not good, if you just block them to have, how the world will see them. At the same time, you are open them to be bullied or to be unconfident because they will not understand how to match or how to fit in this new world. And the other extremity give them too much access to this information and contents and screens, make their brain rot and all the issues that we already know. But how to avoid it is make them sure about who they are. So jiu-jitsu will make them sure who they are, will make them confident about how to filter the information because they know who they are. So once your kid, your daughter or your son, they know who they are, they don't need that the others approve them to be accepted. They will not smoke because the friends are smoking. They will not drink because the friends are drinking and they have to be accepted in that circle. He will not use drugs because he says, oh, all my friends use drugs, and if I don't use, they will not accept me, because they know who they are. Jiu-Jitsu gives them this kind of confidence and build their brain with this proof. So also the community, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community is healthy, is a respectable community, it's a familiar place. So automatically his friend circle will be, this is also people. So this is how the jiu-jitsu have to be held for kids. So before you give them a screen or a tablet or a notebook, laptop, or give them a gi, give them a kimono. Kimono can make them much more valuable men and women than the electronic device. But the life, it's lived in a real world, not in a virtual world. So if they know how to look the face, how to recognize and understand the emotions about the other's face, how to look straight instead of look down, this make them different women. Even the posture, how they enter to places, make them different. You cannot enter some place with your head down, look in the phone. But if they put their shoulders back, look up, everybody will feel this energy. Will say, okay, this is a guy that I have to be careful. Because the human power, the human is nobody without power. Jiu-jitsu will give you power. What makes you good or bad? It's your decision to control this power. You have to be dangerous, but you have to be good at the point that you understand how to control this power. So everybody have to understand. It's not about fear, it's about respect. I have to respect you. This man, this woman, they have such of power that I don't have. So I have to respect. That's the power that Jiu-Jitsu will give to everyone. Kids, much more easy because they will learn on this base. Adults as well. It's a bit more hard to change the foundations of how they're raising, but it's also possible.
I noticed like I'll put the links in for the testimonials in the description and your Facebook or your information as well, so you can check it out. It's interesting that normally we may think that like jiu-jitsu is for boys, but actually like it's probably best suited for girls because it's the ultimate self-defense to protect themselves. And I was thinking like in a place like Thailand where, you know, Thai girls sometimes are given like one track. This is jiu-jitsu can be a way of empowerment for girls. So could you talk a little bit about that, like how it can help confidence in girls and especially Thai girls become more empowered and hopefully change the traditional way that women are thought of here?
So in a world that was raised in a way that shows that the world was built for men, teach jiu-jitsu to girls is a big step for their lives because they will understand the power that they have. They will understand how to respect each other, but they understand how to be respected. So for girls, I don't like to split girls and boys during the jiu-jitsu, but of course, for girls, it's such a new resource for them to at least don't be scared when they are facing a man that try to threat or aggressive man. They will not feel. Because the first thing we teach to students is how to verbalize, how to speak, because you can break everyone just with your words. The body to body attacks or body to body action is the last point. Until you reach this point, you have too many steps that you can stop the aggression or you can stop the threatening or even the abusement. So for girls, give them this understanding how the size is nothing. To be skinny or to be a woman or to be weak is not so important at that point because the most important muscle in your body is our brain. But the only thing that we have to exercise until we die is our brain. So once you understand how to train your brain to find the best way to avoid or to escape or to reverse is the best training for jiu-jitsu. As I say before, if a guy with 110 kilos is up to you, is over you, how can you escape? You don't have power enough to do this. You are 50, 60, 70 kilos. Even if you are 80 kilos, 110 kilos is too heavy. So the only way to escape is using strategy. And strategy is doing by your brain, is not doing by your biceps or your triceps. So teach the girls and the boys and kids and adults how to use the mind to find a strategy is the best way how to teach jiu-jitsu, to empower them. So this is how jiu-jitsu teach you. So you can transfer all these hard situations, as I used as example before, when someone's on top of you or when some guy are coming to punch you and you have to close the distance and grab. So all these things create in your brain new connections to make your brain more sharp and your synapses are much more faster. So that's why jiu-jitsu work in the brain. It's like a chess, but it's a body chess. When you are training jiu-jitsu, you have to think 5, 10, 20 moves ahead of your opponent. So sometimes in your job, you have some difficult situation, you will find a way. Just breathe and keep calm. in your personal relationship with your husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. That's always very important. You will find a way to escape or to fix or to do. So every single situation, Jiu-Jitsu will help you to find a good solution.
And I feel like as jiu-jitsu has become mainstream, it's gone around the world. And I feel like as jiu-jitsu has become mainstream, it's gone around the world. What is one misconception or misunderstanding people have about jiu-jitsu that you would like to correct or tell them?
So, like I said before, it's still because in the past we have the bad boys that beat people and make a street fights. We still have this heritage from the 90s and 80s that jiu-jitsu is for violence, jiu-jitsu used for violent boys. But slowly, slowly, with the results that we are showing to the world, how jiu-jitsu can help people, I think it's going on and finished. So this is the main misconception that we have about jiu-jitsu. That's just for the tough guys. Jiu-jitsu is not for tough. Tough guys don't need jiu-jitsu. He's already tough. Jiu-jitsu is for the, as Grandmaster Helio Gracie said, Jiu-Jitsu is for the weakness against the strongest, for the kid against the adult, for the woman against the man. Jiu-Jitsu is a good factory to build cowards to be a man. And be a woman is not about to be tough. It's about to be fair, to be balanced. That's what Jiu-Jitsu will give to us.
Well, just listening to you and seeing you teach, I feel excited because I feel like in a way, jiu-jitsu is here, but you're bringing a movement to Thailand, and like you teach at our school, but you can definitely expand and create like a center in Thailand and Khon Kaen. So what would you say, and I'm sure a lot of people are interested, what is your dream academy for you look like if you can build that in Thailand?
So I start to build this dream 20 years ago when I start to teach. So in all my life, when I worked Jiu-Jitsu, I never came to the place that Jiu-Jitsu was established. First of all, I start in São Paulo, where I born, and as a practitioner. Then I moved to one small city in the countryside where my father was born and when I was raised for my holidays and vacations, that calls Itararé. It's a small town compared in Brazil. It's a 50,000 inhabitants, but for Brazil it's really small. And nobody at that time, nobody knows what Jiu-Jitsu is. I come to see this there. After 10 years, when Jiu-Jitsu was already established in all the region, where everyone can harvest the benefits of Jiu-Jitsu and can understand how it is, and I have students ready to keep the legacy, I moved to Cyprus, where is a small in Mediterranean Sea, that also, they already had Jiu-Jitsu when I came, but very small focus of Jiu-Jitsu. The way how I work in Jiu-Jitsu there makes Jiu-Jitsu a trend. So now, every single parent in Cyprus wants his kids practicing Jiu-Jitsu. Every single adult that need a new motivation for the life, new activity that make them balance body, soul, and mind, are searching for Jiu-Jitsu. So in 6 years that I live in Cyprus, I built this community, I built this culture, this philosophy, and now we have the biggest team there, still ruling by my students there. So when I saw the opportunity to come to Khon Kaen in a new purpose that is teach Jiu-Jitsu as a regular grade in the school, this was my dream. Teach kids since from the base and how Jiu-Jitsu can make them better, even the school. So I am sure I know the recipe to make Jiu-Jitsu grow up in a place that Jiu-Jitsu is unknown. And also, I'm sure Thailand is a very fertile field for this because the martial culture in Thailand is so strong. They are the place that Muay Thai starts and is also one of the most respected martial arts in the world and one of the most effective one. So teach Jiu-Jitsu to the people that already have the mindset that how important is martial art as a foundation for the life. I'm sure in a short time we'll have very good results. We are still like almost 3 months here. We already can see too many results with the students of the school. And also we start to grow an adults group from outsiders. They start to fall in love. When you are passionate for Jiu-Jitsu, you cannot leave anymore. I think about to leave Jiu-Jitsu every day in my life because now it's part of my soul. And why do I think I have to leave? Because I want to come back. I want to learn everything again. I don't know nothing. I'm still learning. But the point is, I miss too much to be a student again. because I missed the times that Jiu-Jitsu was new for me and it started to change my life. That's feeling my heart. Now I transfer to my students. How can I supply this necessity of my life? When I see my students discovering this new world. And then I can see myself in each student that I have. So I can fulfill my own necessities with this. So that's why Jiu-Jitsu is complete, amazing, and it's for the life.
All right, so we're almost done, but one more question or two more questions. If there's anyone on the fence who's not sure about training, anything you can encourage them? And lastly, before we go, can you teach us one word or phrase in Portuguese that you think represents Jiu-Jitsu? Yeah, you can say the phrase.
Okay. So I used to have like my quote sentence that my master, Grand Master Flavio, did years ago. He said, and this I think can change everybody's life if you understand the many meanings behind this. He used to say in Portuguese that a força do jiu-jitsu está na capacidade de superação. It means the jiu-jitsu power is on the capacity of overcoming. When you understand that the power of jiu-jitsu is about yourself, against yourself, is about when you wake up and say, today is a good day to die. I will do my best because it can be my last day and I want to write my name in the rocks for never be deleted, never be erased. So when you understand that the day is now, the time is now, you have to do your best today, because 1 second after now, maybe you're not here. Nothing belongs to us, only the present moment. So when you understand, do your best, do what you have to do, and do in a good way, just for now. This is how the essence Jiu-Jitsu can teach you.
Professor Juliano, thank you so much. I appreciate it and pleasure to be here.
I also want to say thank to Teacher Paul, that's my colleague in the school, to give me the opportunity to talk about Jiu-Jitsu. That this is what Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu are not only moves. If he invites me to show moves, okay, I can accept. But Jiu-Jitsu is much more than this. Moves, self-defense is like 15, 20, maybe less % of Jiu-Jitsu. Jiu-Jitsu is about all this philosophy. It's complete. We used to learn in Jiu-Jitsu how to eat. So research about the Gracie diet. We used to learn how to behave, how to talk, how to listen. Most important for kids is make them listen, right? So sometimes parents come to me after 1 year and they bring him a kid with 4 or 5 years old, and after 1 year they come and say, I'm not seeing any improvement. He doesn't know how to do an armbar. He doesn't know how to do one takedown. Say, yes, you don't see any improvement, but you remember when your kid come here, he cannot sit down, he could not listen, he could not stop to speak, he don't respect his partners, and now he come, he bow before he enter the mats, he asked me to drink water, he asked me permission to go to the toilet, he put his flip-flops in the right way behind the mats, he respect the kids, he sit down and listen me, and after I allowed him to do the exercise, he start to do, and he doesn't stop until I say he can stop. This is the big learning. I start to shape, Jiu-Jitsu start to shape their behavior. So moves are the last part. It's very easy. I can teach moves to a monkey, but I cannot teach behavior. I cannot teach confidence to a monkey. And we have a brain, so we have to teach them how to think, not only how to obey. I want to build independent men and women, not only leaded people like cows and horses that just need someone to lead. We need to be leaders, but not normal leaders. We need to be leaders of our own lives. This is most important. Thank you, Paul. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jay, for being behind the camera as well.